play guitar. Just look at me. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Don't believe what I say. Just watch me and see. First I grab myself a chord, working from the sky to the ground. Then I grab another chord to make a good sound. Then I work another chord for what's called a turnaround. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Now if you bought that game, you plug in the TV, you know the one that makes you look like a player like me. Remember? Hey, welcome back. Anybody can play guitar for a special edition, episode 26, I think it is. So this is going to let you know all about Anybody Can Play Guitar, and it's just an interview that was done in Pasadena Media Studios. So let's go to that. It'll be about 15 minutes before I come back. Let's try and see what's going on here. If you're in the dark about Anybody Can Play Guitar, here's the light coming up.
Congratulations, you've survived the holiday season. Chances are you've already cheated on a couple of New Year's resolutions, but it's never too late to try something new. Like create a television program. Anybody can run a camera. Anybody can direct a program. Anybody can run a prompter. Anybody can host a show. This year, I've decided I want to help you to get that idea out of your head and onto the screen. And to prove it's possible, I have a couple of guests to tell you how they are doing it. So settle in. You're watching Arroyo Profiles. We love music programming here on the Arroyo channel, and my first guest not only brings in artists to demonstrate their skill, he also encourages you to try taking up the old jazz box. Take a swing with the axe, fiddle around on the old sixth string. I'm talking about guitar, folks, and according to James, anybody can play guitar. Welcome to the show, James.
All the terminology that's involved,
because I actually had to go on Google and look that up to find out. I mean, I knew axe, but
every part of the terminology used for guitar, okay. I like to use it when the time comes, so I never fall out of the groove.
The groove.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start by having you tell us a little bit about who you are. So, we're going to go all the way back to the very beginning. Who are you and where are you from?
James Jones Jr., if you need to know my full name and all that stuff, James Kenneth Jones Jr. Let's see, I was born in the Midwest. I've been on guitar like I was 18. My brother had a bass and I, used to play with him. Mm-hmm. When he wasn't playing it, I'd pick it up and see what I, measure it off. Mm-hmm. And lately, it's been a hard time because he died about 5 or 6 years ago, and he was like pretty good. So I've been playing myself 45 years, and I actually been playing since like 20. But when I picked his bass up, I was like 17 or 18. He was working a music store.
Okay.
So.
And where was this? Where was all this happening?
All this was in San Fernando. I graduated from San Fernando High.
Okay.
In 1971. So to try to keep out of trouble, I'd stay in the house and play bass, turn the amp up. He worked in a music store, by the way.
You said that.
And he said that?
You said that. He worked in a music store.
He worked
in San Fernando.
Yeah, in San Fernando. Right. So most of the time he was playing it, but when he wasn't, I'd get in there and turn it on, boop, 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 boop.
Okay. Because bass guitar, I'm assuming is the same basic thing, like an electric one, or was it like acoustic?
That was an acoustic, and that was an electric bass.
Okay.
But as far as acoustic goes, he got somebody threw away an acoustic guitar at the music store, and he brought it home to me, and I played around with it. Yeah, pegs were missing. I had to tighten it up with pliers and stuff. But we played around and put a microphone from the cassette player in the sound hole and to make it loud. And we used to listen to Jimi Hendrix a lot. You know what I mean? Okay. And other guys that played loud and fast.
So where would you say that your love of music comes from?
From when I was a kid. I started playing piano when I was like 3 or 4. So I always knew where middle C was. And then I got a clarinet when I was about second grade or fifth grade or something like that. And I played that quite a while. I've been in marching band, like you see him in the Rose Bowl, marching to horse manure. I've done that before.
Okay.
I've done that before. I know what it's all about. So I've been playing other instruments. I played saxophone, took piano at PCC for one semester to make sure my only teacher wasn't my mother.
Okay.
You know, because try having your mother teach you piano.
I'm gonna pass.
And she grew up around the time that they had Fats Waller. She was more on the prodigious side. Her name was Patricia. So she played a lot of stuff, church and all that stuff, and my grandmother wanted to play
Just
in
the
church.
stuff?
Yeah, because that was called the devil's music in the 50s, even in the 40s, because I was born in the 50s, 53. And I kept playing the guitar and playing guitar till there's a part of playing guitar that it's hard to explain. Like, if you get good enough on guitar, every day is like Friday the 13th. If you ever play more than 10 years, and you start getting to where you can really work on that thing, it just looks like every day's Friday the 13th.
How's
Everybody
that?
gets mad at you for nothing. Everybody wants a little more from you, and you know, everybody thinks they can think for you and tell you what
So
you're
how do you
doing.
get from that point, because that's kind of what you do with your show. You've gotten to the point where you've gotten good enough, but now you take your show is called Anybody Can Play Guitar.
And I try to show it to where you can play it and enjoy it instead of having that Friday the 13th syndrome.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
We actually have some clips from your show. We're going to take a look at those right now. So if you guys would like to turn your attention to the following bit of James Jones Jr.'s Anybody Can Play Guitar.
Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Don't believe what I say. Just watch me and see. First I grab myself a chord, working from the sky to the ground. Then I grab another chord to make a good sound. Then I work another chord for what's called a turnaround. Anybody can play guitar.
Okay, get that right there. Wow, you know, this magazine has some pretty good chord forms in the back of it. Very good ones, too. By the way, I'm James Jones Jr. I'm here to tell you anybody can play guitar. What do you get when you throw a piano down a mine shaft? You get a flat minor. Easy notes to help you play the blues if you practice. Look at these. That's an easy note. That's an easy note. That's an easy note. That's an easy note. That's a real easy note. Playing blues could be tricky when you try to learn it, but once you go through one progression without making a mistake, you got it made. And hey, get in touch with me and say, I made one of those. Nothing wrong. I'm learning guitar and I made one of these. It took me 20 minutes to get I got my circle template, ruler. I know how to tune the guitar. I made one of these and now I'm on the road to better learning.
Welcome, my friend, to see you again at this party. There's good news for blues. Whatever you choose is outstanding. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. Let's party till dawn, discuss our old times in fun. Let's sing along to the song that plays when we're dancing. Tell our favorite jokes.
laughing out loud at the bar, exchange our love stories. Remember that we have our own lives and we'll love like we want to, party like they say. We don't really clown around here. Don't forget it. Anybody can play guitar.
So that's a taste of Anybody Can Play Guitar, and I want to dial in on that show because you've been doing it for a little while now. How long? When do you remember when you first came
working
through?
on 5 years or 5 years or more. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm lost in all of it. I'm not learning guitar here. I'm learning how to run this equipment when I'm a volunteer.
I think you've got it down pretty good.
Yes.
And speaking of volunteering, because you came through before we opened up this facility, and you volunteered on a lot of shows before you went full bore into your own program.
Right.
So I want you to just tell me a little bit about your experience from the moment you walked in. What were your expectations, and then what did you actually get?
Well, let's go back to '91 where I first made my first 3-song video for people to, hey, that guy's okay, you know. And I said to myself, if I was a cameraman, I can learn how to take the class and run on the football field and get down there. And
so you part of it was so that you could kind of document your music, but a lot of it is you're teaching people how to do this.
Yeah, but I was wanting to come in here and learn how to run a camera.
Okay.
See, that would be easy enough, like these guys here are running their camera.
Yeah.
So I wanted
Never
to.
run a camera before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's doing it now. Yeah.
So.
I think she's doing all right.
So. I'm here anytime they want to, be nice enough to have me work with them.
And you've done a lot more than run a camera. You've run audio, which you knew a little bit about already. You've run the switcher. You've run every piece of equipment we have in here. You've directed shows. You've produced shows. You've done quite a bit over the years.
Yeah.
How would you say the experience has been, like working with the people and all that?
It's been pretty well. I haven't run into any major problems other than, be here on time and, don't dilly-dally around, especially on my show when I want something, perfect. Sometimes I come in here, I do everything myself before I start. I have all the cameras in place and, make sure, check all the guys inside, see what's wrong in there and make sure everybody eats the right thing. Give them orange juice and vitamin stuff, like that. Make sure they, they got it going where I can have it going. If they don't
so what's your favorite thing about producing shows and like why do you keep coming back here?
Oh, you want me to quit, huh? Well,
no, not necessarily.
That's a good idea sometimes, like I'm saying. There's certain things happen where, I become that guy that gets has a disdain for, the people that it's all about playing guitar. Some movie stars jump off of trains and do overdoses. I just get mad.
You get mad and pick up your guitar.
Some guys get married and get divorced in like 3 months. I never do that. I just hold it. Why don't you ask me?
Guitar.
Yeah, just ask me to get married. We'll last a long time. I left the secret out though, so I'm gonna have to change that. Don't ask me. You know what I mean, man.
Okay.
But I'm married to a guitar.
You're married to a
guitar.
guitar.
I got 7 of them.
Okay.
And if I happen to sound like a sheik with 7 wives, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I won't quit music for the peaceful fact that you can't argue with music.
This is James Jones Jr. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Okay, so before we let James go, I want to ask him just a couple more questions. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about producing their own TV show? Like, should they just jump right in, or is there something they should do to prepare?
Oh, there's in Google there's something called Grammarly. Tell you how to talk.
Okay.
And then things like that.
So learn how to talk.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
The way you ever notice how I say something and then I say it again? It's from practicing things. Like I'm saying, you get on guitar enough. Every day's Friday the 13th.
I'm not looking
Just
for
like
Friday
I say,
the 13th. That sounds scary.
Every day is Friday the 13th. Sometimes you better know I know it. It's hard to pull one like that, but every day is still Friday the 13th. So play music, you'll love yourself. And I know it. And just play music. You'll love everything as long as it stays that way.
Okay.
You know, the rain comes down, you can't stop it. Music plays, hey, stop it. See if you can. You can't.
Okay. So we need more educational shows?
Right.
We need some Grammarly?
Right.
Learn how to
Grammarly.
speak?
You learn how to speak.
Some practice?
Yeah.
We need to play some music?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you one last question. Can anybody make a TV show?
Hey, how'd you like that? Found out a few different things you didn't know about? Well, that's that. Anybody can play guitar. By the way, learn how to play blues faster on Anybody Can Play Guitar. Learn things that your musician friends probably don't even know themselves on Anybody Can Play Guitar. There's a lot of study that goes behind it. You can get on your guitar and plunk around and forget that you ever had one. But it's always best to be direct, like in a war or something, like every day is Friday the 13th, and you better be right with Anybody Can Play Guitar. So, here's something you never knew. Once again, you play electric guitar? You know him? You've seen him before, haven't you? That's Benjamin Franklin, founding father. I said that's Benjamin Franklin. Yes, Benjamin Franklin. That's him, founding father. He wrote something, and he did this and he did that. He's registered as in 2 different places, one as an inventor. But what would you do if there was no electricity? There probably won't be an electric guitar. You think you're going to play the blues faster without electric guitar? Okay. Now, the next one on electric guitar would be, let's see here, Les Paul, an inventor. Yes, Les Paul. He made a lot of things, 24-track recording, the log guitar, everything. So I met him once outside of the Guitar Center in Hollywood. Where else? And he didn't seem any different to me than anybody. He invented more than I have. But here we go again with one other guy that really makes you notice the electric guitar, even though you weren't born yet. That's a good way to put it. You weren't born yet, and electric guitar is going on by like a freight train, a steaming locomotive. So this guy is Charlie Christian. Take a look at it. The sad thing about him, he died of tuberculosis when he was younger, but he was a predecessor to Wes Montgomery and other people. If you talk about him, you're going to have to be interested in him. Get in Google, find out about a few things you need to know on playing guitars and guitar players. There's other guitar players you never heard of, like you probably never heard of John McLaughlin or there's a lot more guitar players that I can remember right now because I don't want to mess up telling you things on TV. So, anybody can play guitar. We're going to have to come back and I'll see you next time. Anybody can play guitar. Thank you.
Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Don't believe what I say. Just watch me and see. First I grab myself a chord, working from the sky to the ground. Then I grab another chord to make a good sound. Then I work another chord for what's called a turnaround. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Now if you bought that game, you plug in the TV, you know the one that makes you look like a player like me. Remember, TVs are for movies and news. Just watch me. You'll learn how to play the blues. Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Don't believe what I say. Just watch me and see. Tell by the way the music spirit lingers. You want to learn how to work your fingers. If you're interested, patience is a key. You'll play guitar just like me. Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Don't believe what I say. Just watch me and see. Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. Anybody can play guitar. Just look at me. Don't believe what I say. Just watch me.